Perfect Talk is what it do. It's your guy DJ Playboy back with another one. You know, we got to talk about your man Rick Ross getting into an altercation out there in Vancouver. Also, your man Killer Mike had an update on his Grammy arrest. The Supreme Court has some news about Donald Trump and his immunity case. And your boy Bronny James made history getting drafted with his pops. We got that and much, much more. It's the Perfect Talk podcast, baby. Let's get it. What's good, Josh? Your man DJ Playboy back with another episode of the Perfect Talk podcast. So you know I'm in here holding it down for y'all, man. Season's changing, summer's here, and let's get right to it. It's time for Plicker's Spotlight Story. Oh yeah, that's right, baby. You know how it goes down here at Perfect Talk podcast, man. Every episode we start a Plicker's Spotlight Story. I shine a light on a story that might not have been getting enough light. Might have been the biggest story of the week, but either way, we're gonna shine a light on it. And this one's no different, man. Your boy Bronny James, Lebron James Jr. Yeah, he got officially drafted to the Lakers at the 55th pick in the second round of the 2024 NBA draft. Now, everybody who's been following LeBron James' career know that this is a big deal. LeBron has always said that he envisions playing with his son, wanted to be the first father-son on-court duo, and made history when Bronny James got drafted. Now, they haven't played a game together yet, but you know it's coming down the pipeline. Something I noticed when I seen it was like, it didn't look like Bronny James was that hyped to be drafted. You know what I mean? And he seemed a little tranquil, you know what I'm saying? He seemed a little sedated when he was actually chosen. Maybe he knew it was coming. Maybe it wasn't a big surprise to him. But I mean, somebody who's watched a ton of drafts in the past, man, I've seen people just act the fool, act the donkey when they get drafted. Yeah, but I don't know. For some reason, it did not seem like Bronny James was that hyped. It was that, you know what I'm saying, to be drafted by the Lakers. A lot of people had to hate on him. They said he would have never got picked if he wasn't LeBron James' son. Said he really didn't put up any numbers over there at USC. And, felt it was nepotism. But the world is nepotism, and the NBA is no different. Like, you got Luke Walton there because of who his dad is. Rest in peace to Bill Walton. You know what I mean? You got the Tim Hardaway Jr.'s, the Steph Currys, the Klay Thompsons. And I think what some people might point to is that, you know, and especially in the case of the last three that I named, maybe they didn't necessarily need, or at least the last two, I should say, maybe they didn't need their dads to get in the league. But if you got the advantage, man, why not take it? The term Nepo baby seems like it was made up by some haters out there, you know what I mean? And anybody who has an advantage, I feel like, is going to take that. So shout out to you, Bronny James. He also said he's going to wear the number 9. Which would be pretty dope, you know what I mean? Because he's representing for Juice WRLD. Juice WRLD, y'all know, represented with the 999, had the tattoos and all that. And Bronny James says he's been a big Juice WRLD fan.
Juice has just been a big part of, me keeping calm in some situations that I've been through. So yeah, just paying homage to him, especially because he passed, is a really important thing for me.
I ain't really like how they put his stats up on the screen right there. They could have left that off the screen. That's what he did in the past, but imagine what he about to do. You know what I'm saying? Don't be hating on my man Bronny James. I really do wonder to myself if it was his dream to truly be playing with his dad. If it was his dream to be drafted by the Lakers, or if he'd rather do it maybe low-key. If he would have wanted to maybe go to another year. I doubt that, because who wants to be in college not getting paid when they could be getting paid to learn on the job? You know what I mean? Congrats to Bronny James. Congrats to LeBron James for a dream achieved. You know what I mean? And they're going to be rocking the 6 and the 9 next to each other. That's going to be weird. But also, I hope they do the Bronny James, the James Jr. and the James Sr., because then, you know what I mean, people going to buy the jerseys, you know what I mean, fathers and sons, and everybody out there going to be buying it. So it's like, it's going to be kind of dope to see that James Jr., James Sr. But I'm happy for y'all, man. I'm happy to see a dream fulfilled, man. I'm a dreamer myself. I know it takes a lot of hard work to make a dream come to fruition, and shout out to the James family, especially with what Bronny James went through at the beginning of last season. Had the cardiac arrest, you know what I mean, people didn't know if he'd be playing, if he'd be down and out. So, you know what I mean, to see him go from there to make it here, big things are going. Shout out to you, Bronny. And next up, we're going to take it over here to one of my favorite segments at Perfect Talk Podcast, and it's called Winners and Losers. Somebody got to win the week, and of course, somebody got to lose the week, man. And this week's winner, it's your boy, D. Trump, you know what I'm saying? Now, he ain't win the election, but he did win the week, you know what I mean? He had that debate going down, and I don't know if he necessarily won it, but he just didn't come out as looking as bad as Joe Biden did, you know what I mean? Your man Joe was stumbling, mumbling, and bumbling, you know what I mean? On top of that, Donald Trump definitely sounded a little just more fresh on his feet, sounded more fresh with his ideas now. Everything he said was probably a lie. As you know, y'all could go check out some fact checker videos here on YouTube, and I'm sure they're going to let you know. But for the most part, you know what I mean, at least he had full sentences. It's sad that's where we at as a country, but yeah, like, the guy who can complete sentences is probably going to win the debate. He also won the week because the Supreme Court granted him immunity. The Supreme Court ruled that core presidential activity Trump has absolute immunity that he has sought. The majority said that Trump's conversations with the Justice Department were covered with absolute immunity. And this, of course, led to a snowball effect for his other cases that he has coming up. I believe the sentencing for his hush money case is pushed back from July all the way now to September. And I believe his Georgia case probably wouldn't start until even after the election has happened. So it's getting weird. But not only did Trump lie his way through the debate with full sentences and got exactly what he wanted out of the Supreme Court that he put in place, he also got a music video from these two idiots.
It's the mayor of Magaville, baby. Hey, you know who we voting for? We voting Donald Trump, baby.
Ain't nothing I can say to that, man. Every time I see y'all, and by y'all, you know, Amber Rose, Forgiato, whatever this guy's name is, Blow, whatever. Why the D-riding so hard for Trump, man? What has he done for you to be D-riding him like that? You don't even D-ride your own family like that. But this guy, people do whatever they're going to do for a check, man. It's not hard to make people tap dance. In this week's loser, y'all, it's the biggest boss that we've seen thus far. That's right, man. Ricky Rose. He made his way up to Vancouver. He thought he was big and bad and was going to play whatever he wanted, and they showed him how it goes down in Vancouver. Yeah, that's right. Rick Ross performing at a festival, not only, you know, performed some of his songs with Drake out there in Canada, made it through his set, but at the end decided he wanted to play Kendrick Lamar's controversial hit, Not Like Us. And they didn't like that in Vancouver on account of Drake being dissed in the song and the implications that, you know, Canadians ain't like the G's that made the song, ain't like the gangsters up on stage with Kendrick. And when pressed about it, things actually went a little left.
You gonna press us out in our fucking city, nigga? What's up?
Now, we here at Perfect Talk Podcast do not condone violence in any way, shape, or form. But Rick Ross, this could have been avoided, bro. Like, definitely didn't even have to hop in this beef. Like, you wasn't on like that. You know what I mean? You wasn't mentioned in First Person Shooter. You don't even get a shout out on Not Like Us. So it's like, you could have sat this one out. But instead you hopped in it, and you definitely had some funny lines. You know what I'm saying? I think people know Rick Ross a little bit more for some of the social media stuff than they do the music these days. But the irony of calling Drake the white boy and trying to diss him and you know, using the racial implications to them being punched in the face by a white dude. You know what I mean? It ain't looking great. And over a song that you ain't making no money off of, you ain't even featured on, they ain't call you for the remix or nothing. Like, Sam Sneak ain't have to catch them punches. You know what I mean? And as a DJ, you know that hurts, see. You know what I mean? Your guy didn't have to get knocked out. Your security guard didn't have to catch the concussion. Like, none of this was necessary. And you could have went up to Vancouver, performed them Drake songs, clown Drake for, like, you know what I mean, helping you go to #1, da-da-da-da-da. And it still would have been cool, but you decided you was going to take it a little too far, and they had to stand up for themselves. Now, what kind of implications this is going to cause for when Drake decides he's going back on tour and he hits the road, or when Kendrick goes up to Canada, or when the Weeknd's out there, who knows? But one thing I'm going to tell y'all is just keep it respectful, you know what I'm saying? Don't cross enemy lines and then think you're just going to move any type of way, because that is not something we want to see you go viral for, man. Like, Rick Ross is going viral for his plane crashing, for getting punched in the face, and definitely for giving his enemies tons of viral content. Like, you beefing with your baby moms right now, and you got the nerve to then get punched in the face. Like, you ain't gonna give her all the ammo she needs. And you know how 50 Cent get down. He ain't letting this go down without dropping 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 videos just to let y'all know that he's seen it.
Guys, you know, I just saw a very unfortunate situation that took place in Canada, and I want to say to everyone, You know, that I hope that brother made it home safely. I hope that he now has a different perspective, a better sense of what to do and what not to do while you're out in the world. That part where the young guy went like, he did this little move and got knocked the out, like right there. That does not reflect him. That reflects his camp, and he might need to go get the Dream Chasers or the 305 Killers.
And then Rick Ross, you know what I mean, took it one step further and then just posted a picture the next day, carefully with the glass over the eye that got punched, you know what I mean? And his baby moms came out and called him out about that. Like, yeah, you covering up that eye, bro. We know what it is. And it do seem weird. Like, Rick Ross is always the guy to hop in the stories, hit us with the video, and now you hitting us with a photo. So, yeah, man, it wasn't looking great for the Maybach music crew this week, you know what I mean? Like, we ain't see MMG catch a beating like that since G-Unit tossed Gunplay up in the air, you know what I'm saying, at the BET Awards a couple years ago. So, yeah, it's... Take a few weeks off, you know what I mean? Drop a freestyle or two in a couple of weeks about it and just move on. Sometimes you gotta take your L's. And that is going to take us on to my favorite segment here on the Perfect Talk podcast. And it's called Have You Heard? I hear news in these streets, and I bring them here to the Perfect Talk podcast so we can see if y'all heard. It's going down, y'all. There are certain states in the United States of America where, moving forward, the 10 Commandments will now have to be displayed. On top of that, there are states here in the United States where the Bible would be included in the curriculum. That's right, y'all. Louisiana is going to become the first state to require that the 10 Commandments be displayed in classrooms. They look at the 10 Commandments as a symbol of morality, what our justice system is built on, and just the overall way to carry yourself. Now, I came up in the era where, you know, there was a separation between church and state, and you couldn't just be talking about any old thing in the classroom, but times have changed, man. Republican Governor Jeff Landry of Louisiana signed into law a requirement that says a poster-sized display of the 10 Commandments in large, easily readable font will be displayed in all public classrooms from kindergarten to state-funded universities. Now, I guess no matter really where you fall in line or your religious views, it might not correspond to whether you agree or disagree with this law. Like, I agree with all of the 10 Commandments. I think you should honor your parents. I think you probably shouldn't try to bag your neighbor's wife. You definitely shouldn't be out there killing each other, people. But who am I as a teacher to tell my students whether they should covet their neighbor's wife or not, when you don't know what that teacher's doing when they leave there? I don't know. I think it's overstepping boundaries. Now, I do think that America does have a morality problem that we have to improve. And, you know what I mean, there needs to be a certain code that I think a lot of people aren't catching and aren't learning in schools. And I agree with that. But I don't think we have to do it under the guise of religion. Now, we're just violating a ton of people's personal rights. This is a country who's built on coming here and having religious freedom. So what it looks like to me is you just don't want people who are different than you in terms of your religious views in those states. Another state that has come into the news this week is Oklahoma, where State Superintendent Ryan Walters announced that lessons from the Bible will be added in the curriculum. A note to the officials said the Bible is an indispensable historical and cultural touchstone. Without basic knowledge of it, Oklahoma students are unable to properly contextualize the foundation of our nation, which is why Oklahoma educational standards provide for its instruction. This is not merely an educational directive, but a crucial step in ensuring our students grasp the core values and historical context of our country. Look, y'all, I think y'all smart enough and had enough history lessons to know that when you start pushing religious views on people, it don't go well. Like, you can't do that and expect that people are just going to fall in line, because that's not how things work. Matter of fact, some people in that same religion have different views about abortion. Like, some of those people in that same religion have different views about monogamy. We try to paint this thing with a broad stroke, and it's not like that. It's the same reason why a two-party system doesn't really work in this country, because more people are going to fall in the center and be like, I want a little from column A and a little bit from column B, as opposed to this weird tribalism where we're like, no, I'm just down with this. F the other side. Nah, I don't bang with them. Bump the other side. Like, nothing's getting done. Do I believe that these changes in legislation have come from a good place and have good intentions? No. If I'm being honest with you, I don't think anybody really cares what anybody's religious views are that aren't in their family or aren't in direct contact with them. I think this is a way of controlling people and telling people how they're going to act, and using the guise of religion to now set your standards upon someone else. And I'm going to keep y'all informed here on Perfect Talk Podcast, just to let y'all know how it goes, because, of course, both of these changes in legislation have been met with lawsuits from the ACLU and a bunch of other groups that are fighting for human rights. So please stay tuned, and I will keep you informed on where this story goes. Have you heard? Shout out to your guy Killer Mike. He will not face charges for the arrests that happened on the night of the Grammys. If you remember, rapper Killer Mike, he won 3 Grammys, swept the hip hop category, but then was subsequently arrested after an altercation happened. Not too many details came out about it, but it was released this week that Killer Mike will not face charges over the assault that happened at the Crypto.com arena in Los Angeles on the night of the Grammys in February. Looks like he was booked for misdemeanor battery, but now that he's completed his community service, he won't be facing any charges for this. Shout out to Killer Mike, because obviously this was just a misunderstanding. From what I understand, I think Mike said it was a overzealous security guard and some confusion at the door. I just wish it wouldn't have happened on his award night, but I'm way more happier that he ain't got no backlash and no other charges coming from this. Because Killer Mike is so much more valuable in these streets than he is doing community service or locked up behind anybody's bars. You know what I mean? Because he's changed the community. He's out there talking for the people. He's out there putting his opinions out there. So respect to you, Killer Mike, and do your thing. And I'm glad that you will not be facing any charges, my brother. He also released a new song that speaks about the arrest and the night of the Grammys. It's called Humble Me. Features a verse about his arrest. Says the lyrics here, I was sitting there in a room full of cops, like Daniel was sitting with the lions. I had to quiet my mind. I prayed and I prayed and I prayed. The liars were lying their lies, and I just kept on keeping my faith. And he won Album of the Year at the BET Awards, man. Shout out, you won the week too, Killer Mike. I'm proud of you, man. Keep doing your thing, man. And before we get up out of here, y'all, I just got to let y'all know, man, go check out my Instagram at Plickapeezy, PLICCAPEEZY. Go check me out on Twitter at DJ Playboy. Check us out on Instagram at Perfect Talk Radio, and also check out the website www.perfecttalkpodcast.com for everything DJ Playboy Perfect Talk Podcast. And of course, you know we got the merch on here. Go get yourself a mug, a t-shirt, and all that. And before we get up out of here, though, I gotta show y'all some things I seen on the internet. And that's right, you couldn't go nowhere without seeing this one this week. You know what I'm talking about?
You got it.
What's one move in bed that makes a man go crazy every time?
No, not her. Come on, y'all.
Oh, you got to give them that hawk toad spit on that thing. You get me?
I don't get you. I think you gotta demonstrate.
Hawk toad, spit on it. Spit on it.
Can y'all stop showing Hawk Tour videos? Can we please just get to the video that we had to show? Oh, yeah. There you go. Your boy Kendrick put that final nail in the coffin. Like, you know what I mean? You got a lot to say about with some bodyguards like Whitney. And you know what I'm saying? On some Bobby shit, I want to see what Whitney needs. Well, you see Whitney right there getting her sea walk on in the video. You see the kiddies running around. You know what I'm saying? I'm sure the Drake stands are still going to have something to say. But Kendrick Lamar definitely had to put the final body slam, you know what I'm saying, from the top turnbuckle on the 6th guy. Yo, it's July and this song is still knocking, y'all. Shout out to Kendrick Lamar. Shout out to everybody out there. You know what I'm saying? Spread love. It's the Brooklyn way, and I'm up out of here, y'all. Peace.